For the last century, global industry has run on a surprisingly simple loop: extract raw materials, manufacture goods, and throw them away. It is a linear take, make, dispose engine. To figure out if this engine is running well, we look at one specific number: gross domestic product, or GDP. It measures the total market value of everything a country produces. The rule has always been that a rising GDP means success. But there is a glaring logical error built into this measurement. GDP operates in a total vacuum. It assumes that an economy can grow infinitely, completely ignoring the fact that the Earth has a strictly finite supply of land, water, and minerals. When a system rewards endless consumption without accounting for the cost of extraction, the result is severe ecological damage. The relentless demand for raw materials directly accelerates climate change and strips away global biodiversity. And despite generating massive global wealth on paper, this linear model has failed to solve basic human struggles. Decades of soaring global GDP have not eradicated extreme poverty or closed the massive gaps in social inequality. Humanity is essentially flying blind. An economic compass that slowly dismantles its host planet while leaving millions of its citizens behind isn't functioning. It requires a complete replacement. In 2012, Oxford economist Kate Raworth introduced a radical alternative framework to solve this problem. She called it donut economics. Instead of chasing an ever-increasing GDP, this model establishes an entirely different target: human prosperity thriving in a state of balance. This diagram outlines exactly how that balance works. The inner ring is the social foundation. It maps out the baseline requirements for a decent teen in life, things like clean water, housing, education, and equity. If people slip below that baseline and fall into the center hole, which the model labels a shortfall, they are living in a state of unacceptable deprivation. Now look at the outer ring. This is the ecological ceiling. It represents 9 critical planetary boundaries, including climate change, biodiversity loss, and ocean acidification. Pushing past this outer limit into overshoot causes environmental collapse. Traditional economics treated human welfare and ecological health as 2 separate issues. This framework proves they are actually 2 interdependent limits of the exact same survival equation. The ultimate goal for 21st century progress is to stay entirely within the thick green circular band between those 2 boundaries. This is what Raworth defines as the safe and just space for humanity. Reaching that sweet spot requires dismantling the old take, make, dispose pipeline and transitioning to a circular economy. This new circular model has 2 strict structural requirements. First, it must be regenerative. Instead of permanently extracting resources, industries must actively restore natural ecosystems, reusing and recycling materials continuously. Second, it must be distributive by design. The economy has to proactively share wealth, power, and ownership equitably across society, rather than letting it pool at the top. The donut serves as a specific, measurable set of criteria for redesigning how global markets operate, moving far beyond theoretical critique. To see how this theory functions in reality, we can look to the Netherlands. In 2020, Amsterdam became the first major global city to officially adopt the donut as its guiding policy yardstick. The city used the framework to set an ambitious macro-level target. By 2030, Amsterdam aims to cut its use of virgin raw materials entirely in half. And their ultimate long-term policy goal is to establish a completely 100% circular municipal economy by the year 2050. Executing this plan forces the local government to break down traditional administrative silos. Because the donut links human and planetary needs, Amsterdam is merging its environmental and social departments into a single unified command structure. By utilizing the donut portrait to align these disparate departments, Amsterdam is testing the theory that a modern city can maintain its prosperity while intentionally decoupling its progress from ecological destruction. We can also see the framework applied on a highly granular, micro level. Planners in the city of Oslo are using the donut to meticulously design their new waterfront development. This visual layout maps local environmental potentials, plotting goals like regenerating marine life and minimizing emissions against the Earth's planetary boundaries. Simultaneously, the bottom section maps social challenges against the social foundation, flagging conflicting interests and ethical concerns. allowing planners to spot and solve trade-offs early. Major multinational corporations are now utilizing this exact same dual-lens mapping technique to audit their own global supply chains for circularity. The structure of the donut framework illustrates that a thriving economy can only exist within a healthy society, which entirely depends on a stable planet, signaling the end of the endless growth era.